Welcome to The Energized Hairdresser, the wellness podcast for stylists who are ready to stop running on empty and start fueling their body, mind, and business with energy that actually lasts. I'm your host, Ashley Jo Gillen, certified health coach and lifelong hairdresser with over 20 plus years behind the chair. Here we blend salon life with practical nutrition, wellness, and mindset coaching designed for real demands of stylist life. Each episode gives you simple tools you can use between clients, honest conversations about the industry, and encouragement you need to take care of you so you can show up energized, confident, and balanced behind the chair. If you're tired of running on caffeine and chaos, you are in the right place. All right, let's get into today's episode. Hey, and welcome back to the Energized Hairdresser. So today we're going to talk about, number one, I've been talking a lot on the gram about systems, salon-proof systems, and how we need to have systems built into our day. And what are those systems? So we're going to get we're going to bring this Energized Hairdresser episode back to the salon, which we're all hairdressers here. We all want to take care of our health and wellness, but we work in an environment that can be inconsistent. It could also be very routine, but it also can be we just don't know. So today we're going to talk about salon systems that actually protect your energy versus drain it. I am sure there has been a day where you felt like your energy is all over the place, or maybe you have weeks. Last week, we talked about low energy weeks and what to do with those. This week, we're going to talk about some salon systems. I struggle with this. Some days you're fine. Other days you're just kind of not feeling it. Some weeks you're on fire. Other weeks you're crawling through. And I want you to know that this is normal. We could take this a different direction. And maybe your energy is, maybe you're eating fine. Maybe you're this could be a totally different direction where it's like, well, I really am eating well and my energy just feels off. And it could be a mindset problem. And that's where like one-on-one coaching comes into play. But we're going to talk about this kind of more in a general thing. But your energy might not be failing you. Your salon systems could be. And no one's taught us how to build them. So here we are. We're going to get into it. I want you to picture your day for a second. You walk into the salon, you got your coffee in hand, you've checked your books. Now, if you're like me, which you may or may not be, but Saturday evening, Sunday, sometimes Friday evening, I like to get snuggled into my chair and I like to forecast. I like to look at what's coming down the line and what does my next week look like. Then so you've checked your book, you see where you have clients, and immediately you're going to start feeling stuff. Maybe you've had coffee, maybe you've hit Starbucks on the way, maybe you haven't ate yet because, you know, you're probably a parent, you're probably getting, either yourself ready, your children ready, drop off, whatever. Okay. So you haven't ate, but you're not really hungry because you've had your coffee, right? So you're like, I'll eat later or I'll get to the salon. Then we have a client that arrives early and we are people pleasers. So maybe, oh, well, Sandra's 30 minutes early. I better go ahead and get started. No, 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 no. Sandra can sit there and wait while you have your sous vide bacon and Gruyere egg bites. Thank you very much. You guys can chit chat. Sandra can look at her phone, you know. Just because a client is early doesn't mean you have to start them early, which if you're not comfortable with that, again, that's like mindset work. But anyway, I digress. Okay. So then later never comes. You're like, I'll eat later, but it never really shows up. So you're grabbing a bite here, maybe a sip there, or nothing at all. And I want you to know this is a practice. To learn how to eat in the salon is to learn cues in your body. And when you notice and observe, like some days you're going to hit it. Other days you're not. I even broke my own rule today. Like maybe like where I got busy this morning. No. I got distracted this morning. Didn't make my smoothie. And then it was far too far into my day. And I was hungry. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm hungry." And I mean, I had a client come at noon and I was like, "You know what? I'm so glad you're here, but I had to run inside." I was like, you know, "Here's my dog. I'll be right back." I ran inside, made it like a quick like protein shake, just milk, protein powder real quick. But it's like this is a practice. This is a lifelong practice, okay? But we're going to talk about some systems. So you know you're hungry when you're shaky, you're starving, or you're just done. When your patience is super thin, your body feels heavy, you can't finish the conversation, or you're detailing a haircut and like your client's kind of chit chatty, but you're just like, yeah, like it's too hard for you to conversate and cut the hair. Okay. Those are signs that you're hungry. So here's the part I really want you to hear. This is not like a discipline problem. This isn't a character flaw. It's just a system problem. So we're going to learn how to build those systems in. Okay. I identify as like a type B mom where I can like plan stuff out, but then life happens and then it might look a little chaotic. You will find me, I'll have a menu planned, I'll have ingredients prepped, but if you look into my van, no, no. I have never been a tidy car keeper, okay? You will find me like I will organize the heck out of things, but you go into my bedroom and there will be clothes on my floor. Like, so this isn't like I would love to know what type of hairdresser you are. However, it's not that you can't be consistent. It's just struggling because the environment requires more than consistency. Like our work requires more than just being like consistent. Our work requires systems. And to boot, it's 2026. I was raised off of hairdressers who have been in the industry in the early 90s. Like I started doing hair in 2000. And then now hairdressers that are starting out are like, they were born in 2000, 2010, like whatever, which is insane. So who taught me? Like now we're like my generation is teaching them. So it doesn't matter like old school, new school, whatever. It's just there's still a system that needs to be required here. Okay. So our day is not predictable. Our day can be it looks like it should be predictable because like, you have someone at 9:30 and then but like maybe you throw a few extra foils in there. Maybe their hair is stubborn and won't lift. Maybe like your color, like maybe it's a little chilly in the salon. I'm perimenopausal, so sometimes I got my window cracked, sometimes I don't because if I start sweating, I can't handle that. When I was like knee deep in Graves' disease, I was just like drenched all the time. Okay. So also too, in our unpredictable predictability, it does not pause for you to remember to take care of yourself. There's no pausing in that. Okay. You're just trying to remember to eat. And those two things don't match. Okay. Like you are trying to remember to eat in a job that requires automation, and those things don't match. Okay. So I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about this. So, what do I mean when I say salon systems? Salon systems are things that happen without you having to think about them. They are built into your day, not something that you have to try to squeeze in. I'm going to put on my stories this week and I want to know how, like, your average appointment time. And I've gotten the privilege to talk to hairdressers in all different camps. And, I got to talk to a cutting specialist last week who books out every 1 hour time, so she might see 8 people in a day, 1 hour time. I've talked to a gal who's like working like 45 hours a week. And they're busy. Okay. So the goal of a salon system is something that's built into your day, not something you hope to get to or something you try to squeeze in, but something that just happens to be a part of your day. It's set up. If it relies on willpower, it's not a system. Oh, if I hope I get to eat, that is not a system. And remember, you have to eat because you're a human being. And when you go 8 hours without food, you are not going to feel well. You are not going to be able to go home and give good time and energy to your family. You are not going to be able to go home and be productive. because at that point in time, you've let your blood sugar get so low that to rebound, I mean, it's gonna take a lot. Like, we've all been there. You go home and you're like, I'm tapped out. I can't do anything. And you're just a couch zombie for the rest of the night because you're just spent. All right. So what do we do? What are these systems? So three core systems that I want to talk about, kind of a framework as the energized hairdresser. We're going to give you these simple systems. They're not complicated. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's real. This is a practice. So you kind of pick one and then you dive into it and you try to do that consistently. You pick one, and then after you've done that consistently for 7 to 10 days, then you add another one on because you're still doing the same one. You add another one on. All right. We don't need to go balls deep and do all three at the same time and then do absolutely nothing the other way. Remember last week we talked about all or something versus all or nothing. So the first thing I love, and that I did not do today, but I could tell, was your pre-shift system, which is before you start working, you need to have a meal. No big deal. Before your first client, you eat. Not a coffee, not a protein coffee from Starbucks, not just a protein bar. You need to have a real meal. Protein, carbs, and fats. Because you do not walk into a fully booked day on fumes. We're not doing that. And I know this is something that people want to skip, but this is something that can change so many things. Just this one change itself is going to be huge. And so, what do I mean by protein, fats, and carbs? Assuming you start work in the morning, it's going to be a couple eggs, maybe on a whole wheat bagel, throw some cream cheese or an avocado on there, and you're going to sit and you're going to have your breakfast. You're going to sit down. You're going to enjoy it. Maybe it is a smoothie. I post a lot about my smoothies that I have every morning, and I love them because you can get up to 61 grams of protein in that. And I can share that recipe with you. I'm not going to gatekeep around here. So, protein, fats, and carbs. There's some other things. Hard-boiled egg. You can have 2 hard-boiled eggs, maybe apple and peanut butter, or some strawberries. This is off the top of my head here. What else? A cup of Greek yogurt. Like, I got some Greek yogurt plain the other day, and a little grab and go thing. So then I'll add like some strawberries and chia seeds and maple syrup to that. But just in that one cup was like 15 grams. So you have that one cup with 2 eggs, hard boiled. I love a hard boiled egg, right? That would be 30 grams of protein. Your strawberries and your chia seeds are fiber. The Greek yogurt, the eggs have fat. Okay. So there's that. Tons of stuff. I can give you more information if you're like, I have no idea what to eat. I got you. But you want to start your shift with a pre-anchor meal. Okay. Then the second part is like having a station system. So it's pretty common. While we expect our day to go a certain way, 9 times out of 10, it's going to fall apart. So what does that look like? We need to stop relying on time and proximity. Like, as long as you have like food at your station, and like, I'm not talking like, you know, your lunch like out in the open, but your station, maybe you have salon snacks, like you have a snack bar, you offer your guests a refreshment. You're going to plan those ahead and you're going to have those like at your station or your color bar, because the difference between hangry and a little, like, I have a little bit more stamina is probably some calories. Okay. So that could be walnuts and raisins add a little sea salt to that at your like, put it in a little go to go container. I do like to divide everything out, and then it's like prepackaged, and then I can just grab it. It's also probably more cost effective to buy a thing of raisins and a thing of almonds and put them together. But this is not a budgeting podcast. This is teaching you how to eat. So you can purchase those things already made, but I don't. Like, almonds and cranberries are a thing that are like always together. Ew, I don't want that. I'm going to make it myself. Anyway, So making sure you have snacks at your station or things that you can offer your clients, make them healthier choices for you. Everyone wants to have quality food available. Okay. So make it something that they can have too. Share it with them. Today, my client was hungry. I was hungry. I was like, oh, can I get you a snack? I went inside and grabbed some grapes for her daughter, herself, myself, and her. Daughter didn't like string cheese, but I brought the mom a string cheese. So mom had some grapes and string cheese. I had some grapes and string cheese, and the daughter had some grapes. If you come to my house, I will feed you. That's just what I will do. But I have these things prepared because I know I'm going to get hungry. And I can guarantee you, I will not, if I put a bag of grapes in my refrigerator from the store, I am not going to pull off 3 or 4 grapes. No, let's just clean those grapes up one time, put them in baggies, and then you're done with it. But I know, we're using plastic. You just can't win, so you might as well do the best you can. Okay? So, your station system. This is like you want to make sure you have something to grab in close proximity. Water is visible, things that you can have under 30 seconds, because if it's not in arm's reach, it probably doesn't exist. Okay. So little grab and go bits in your station. This at bare minimum is probably the easiest thing to implement. All right. Having a little bit of things. Third is the transition system. So this is not as tangible as taking your lunch, but very powerful. It's not really a full break. It's not a full meal. It's just like 30 seconds to a minute to take a breath, to drink some water, to take a bite if you need it, to sit down, to bend your legs, right? Because most of what hairdressers are feeling isn't just hunger, it's like nervous system overload. And you don't need a full break to fix that. You just kind of need a micro regulation. So I'm a big component for like rolling your shoulders, moving your neck around. Yeah. And then just resetting because we hold a lot. Like here, talking can be exhausting, so just an opportunity just to kind of let it all out. And grabbing some water. I've done a lot of just awareness, which I'm going to do that right now. I've done a lot through like self coaching is, am I hungry or am I thirsty? Because there's a difference. And especially if I've drank coffee, I've had my smoothie, and there's sensations that I feel in my body. And I'm like, is that hunger or thirst? Sometimes it's both, but knowing the difference between those things, like that's the power. That's what coaching has taught me is body cues and like how to pay attention to those and like what your body's trying to tell you. Right. So sometimes and water can help calm and regulate your blood sugar just as much as protein, fats, and carbs do. Okay. So when you have a little micro regulation, what this is doing is like when you implement these systems into your salon day, here's what matters. So systems remove thinking. They reduce decision fatigue. They stabilize your blood sugar. They support your nervous system because your brain in the middle of the day is packed. It's not trying to optimize your health. It's not trying to survive. It's simply just trying to survive your schedule. And I guarantee you're probably thinking about, okay, when I'm done here, I got to go home and pick up my kids. What am I going to do for dinner? Shoot, I forgot to set out some kind of main thing for dinner. And once you get tapped out, you're like, oh my gosh, I am now so tired from my day. I'm gonna have to go home and make a meatloaf. Why did I plan that? What else did I get? That's too much work. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get like takeout because it's too much work. No, not only are you thinking about what's going on with Becky's hair and how to color her formula and why her freaking formula didn't work that time because you didn't do anything different. But what's different about it? It doesn't seem it's not as opaque as it used to be. Sorry. If that is your brain, I understand. Okay. Basically, systems help you have to figure out less. We're implementing systems in our day, so we don't have to think about it. Okay. So if you take away anything from this episode, let it be this. You are not a hairdresser who can't be consistent. I bet you're consistent. I bet you're more consistent than you realize. You're a hairdresser who's been trying to survive without a system that supports you. And once you have those systems, everything starts to feel different. When you're supported, it's great. When you're fueled, when you're hydrated, life feels better. Key component, when you can identify, I really need to eat some protein right now, even better. Our bodies are so intelligent. They really do try to teach us things as long as we pay attention to them. So I'm here for that. So just for a second, when I talk about regulation, I kind of just glanced over that when the transition moment. I love it. Like I tend to book my clients longer than necessary versus like back to back to back. I give myself buffers in there. Or I would rather work a longer day to have a break versus like no breaks at all. Because I know that if I don't take the time to have those transition moments and to build in that regulation in my day, I'm just going to be tapped. And it's not, I want to I work so I can spend time with my family. I work, but then I also want to do things around my house. I, I work in the salon, but I want to go home and cook dinner. But I got to be supported to do that. So the regulation moment, I was kind of doing this at the beginning of my episodes and then I kind of got off track there, but it's just drop your shoulders. I kind of talked about that. Unclench your jaw, taking some deep breaths in. And if we want more information on this regulation, I'd be happy to do that. There's a whole spectrum of tools to have to self-regulate and to help kind of overcome obstacles that are standing in your way. Anyway, that was a little bit of information, but I hope it was helpful to kind of go a little deeper as to what salon systems are. So, things I want you to remember: salon life requires salon proof systems. If it's not built in, it won't happen. Energy comes from structure, not effort. Energy also requires forethought. When I kind of talked about earlier, if what I do on the weekends to prep for the day before, for the week before, is I will kind of either sit down with my digital planner or my paper planner, depending on the flavor of the month there or the week. Both count. I'll kind of forecast. All right, when am I working? What's my family got going on this week? When will I be home weeknights? It's fine. That I digress. So, okay, energy comes from structure, not effort. And small systems can completely change how you feel in your day. The thing, like I just talked about, I forecast throughout the week, system. It's a system. I love it when I get a chance to do it. I feel better. Calms my anxiety. And that's what I'm here for. So if this clicked for you, this is exactly what I do, helping hairdressers build systems that actually support your energy behind the chair and beyond it. And if you want more of this, make sure you follow along because we're going to keep making salon life better. Not heavier, but better. Okay? And I look forward to our episode next week. We might dive it. I think we're gonna dive more into next week. We'll be back at it. Trucking along here. And I'm here for you. So you take care of yourself and never hesitate to reach out. Because if you take care of everybody else who's taking care of you, it's me. All right. We'll see you on the next one.